Yes. Are you ready? Oh.
So your work brings much life and emotion and vivid colors to the eyes. While working on a piece, is there a certain technique that you follow to attain this powerful platform, or you just create free form, whatever comes into your mind, or do you have a plan?
It's like I said, it's much of it's concept based. So I'd even like in the middle of the night, I could get up and thinking about something. I'm one of those type of people. If I've got a thought in my head or idea, I have to put it on paper. Because I'm pretty fearful when I wake up. I won't be able to remember, or so there's always like I said a build up of it. I'm not one of those people who just sits at a desk and all it comes to me. I'm not that good. I have to think through a lot. The advantage I have with doing graphics art is, like I said earlier, I'm not great with colors, so I could adapt and change colors and doesn't ruin the original image. So that's kind of the bonus of working in this format or this medium. But it's never been my first love. My first love has always been poetry, and I don't even necessarily think it's any good, but it's probably the best way to kind of, for me anyway, to reflect how I feel. But the problem is people don't read, so read full stop, that is. They don't even read things that are really important to read. So I think the visual image in today's kind of situation where we have, I always find that a bit of a paradox, that we always have been people that have looked to find information to kind of point to affect where we are in the world and what's happening, and now we have that information at hand, accessible through the touch of a button. No one reads.
That's sad.
Imagine if you had the internet in the 60s.
Yeah.
So that is sad. So yeah, that's why I kind of took to this visual form. But in my spare time, besides work of Emery Douglas, like I said, who was the cultural minister for Black Panthers, his work's always been inspiring and something I've really looked at. And prior to that, Naji Ali was the Palestinian cartoonist behind the Handler character. His work is so powerful, and the fact that it still lives today is a reflection on that. So I realized that it can play an important process to be doing art, and then, to be fair, there are many far great artists that meet painters and all this kind of thing across the Muslim world, Arab world, and so and photographers inspire me a lot. So I kind of draw inspiration from people like that.
So you've mentioned quite a few artists and people that have inspired you. Is there anybody else that you can think of that has inspired you towards your work?
Revolutionary figures. From people like, of course, Malcolm X, which I've mentioned, and Fidel and Che. Across the board, Patrice Lumumba, and even today. I like kind of perspectives of people like Norman Finkelstein, and it doesn't mean you necessarily agree with what everyone has to say, but they certainly inspire, and so they certainly show a passion in what they're doing. They've done lives, and you can't help but to be inspired by that. And because English in a way has become my first language, it's hard to. I mean, I've got certainly because I'm from Pakistani origin, so I love the works of certain poets and artists um, from the past in the main, folk singers and that kind of thing. Um, and so that's always been a constant inspiration. And on music terms, it'll be other people like Tupac or Mos Def, um, and Dead Prez, that kind of thing. I've always kind of found those artists because even though they're not necessarily just commercial, they've done great work, underground work, and I've had the great fortune of meeting people like M1 from Dead Prez and Stickman,